Yeah. See, we got off to a good start already, didn't we? We off to a great start already. We're off to a great start. AJ's off to a great start already. All right, I think y'all can hear me now. Can you hear me? Can you see me? Can you hear me? Can you see me? Can you see the kid? Can you hear the kid? Can you see the kid? Are we here? Are we in these streets? We good now. Um Apologies. Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. I hope everybody's good. Hope everybody had a good weekend. If you are on the YouTubes, if you could hit that like button, that would be great. If you could share the stream, that would be great. If you could comment, that would be even more awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. This is clearly going to be a grassroots thing when it comes to me, because I haven't been invited to the conservative cookout yet. Not the melanated conservative cookout, because they got their own cookout, and then there's the other cookout, and then there's everybody cookout. But I haven't been invited to any of them yet, so we sitting here trying to figure all things out. But anyway, um, so what happened Friday? Let's just go over that right quick. What happened Friday? The kid was burnt out. Yeah, I decided, I don't know what, and this has never worked in my life, where I've always decided, okay, I want to turn up the ante, so I'm gonna just do more, work more, do more, and then I do more, and then I burn out, and then I'm mad at myself for burning out. So we have to stop that cycle right now, because it does not work. Okay. So, in the spirit of working smarter, still working hard, but working smarter and being more responsible with my mentals and my physical and all that other stuff, you gotta, yeah, you gotta get responsible. So we got a few announcements coming up with the shows, and how the things are going to be remixed and moved around, just to make it, more sustainable and not as psychotic. And yeah, and yeah, you hit the wall every now and then. But that's really what happened on Friday. It was like, I ain't got, then Friday's a double show, right? So Friday is you got this one, and then I got the rant experience, and then I'm supposed to go live on you TikTok. Yeah, and then, yeah, whatever. Anyway, so that's what happened. But anyway, for the three of you to actually care. But for everybody else who's like, get to what we came here for, cool, fine, whatever. I will do that. Blessings to you as well. So yeah. Um, so yes, in the wake of all of this, crash out Crockett, as unplugged. You're mad. I call it that now. Um, Listen, as a person who's been melanated my whole life, this ain't new. This ain't new to any of us, and but to some of us, for most of us. But there's always been this tension between Black Americans and Hispanics, just like it's between Black Americans and Africans and Black American, everybody else, right? Right. Sometimes one group is right, sometimes one group is wrong, sometimes they both wrong, sometimes they all wrong. Who cares, right? The point is, this is not new, and so the fact that this has been revitalized in the wake of Jasmine Crockett losing a bid for well, not even for Senate, she lost the bid for the nomination to get to Senate, which is still weird to me, because I don't understand how the Republican Party can interfere in the Democrats' primary. we over here we over here. We over here trying to figure out our own numbers and runoffs, and with people getting blown out, and y'all over here. Y'all decided to petition the Dallas County to get the court, not the courts, to get the polls to stay open, and then you got overridden. That had nothing to do with the Republican Party. That had absolutely nothing to do with the. It wasn't. That was you. The Democrats didn't want you, Jasmine. That was it. The Democrat Party told you they didn't want you when, I forgot what the committee was in Congress. When I don't, did she even get a single vote for that committee? They didn't want you to be head of that committee. So that should have been the tall tale sign that try to go bigger was probably going to be bad for you. And not only did you go bigger, you went for one of the most contested states in the union, Texas. You really thought you were going to get the Democrat Party's nomination for Senate in the state of Texas. Not you know what? It's so crazy that even Barack Hussein was like, "Ah, nah." Even Black Jesus was like, "I can't even endorse her." So if Black Jesus can't even endorse you, what are we even talking about? What are we talking about? Literally, you cannot run races on the color of your skin and your gender. And then on top of that, have a bad attitude and no record. That's not how you win races. But this entitlement it is annoying, bro. And then so now the blacks are mad at the Hispanics. Not all, because I don't care. But and many of the melanation of the non-democrat persuasion, we don't really care. But these folks have decided to use the internet to wheel, deal, and abuse, and we're gonna watch a couple videos in a moment. But Black Americans and Hispanic Americans are allegedly enemies again. Listen, for the most part, folks get along, right? And where I grew up, for the most part, people got along. You still had a couple boneheads, but other than that, most folks got along. For the most part, that is the case. But of course, you have outliers and you have folks who want to stir stuff up based on skin color or background or whatever. But anyway, so you got these folks online who are literally mad because Hispanics aren't voting the way they want them to vote. This shows that the Hispanics have a healthier community than the Black American community. Right, because they're not tribal, right? They understand law, right? They understand right and wrong. You're not voting because somebody's skin is a certain color or because they speak a certain language. No, 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 no. This is not a concert, you know, where you want to go because they sing in Spanish or whatever. No, you want to pick the right people to govern. That's it. That had nothing to do with your race, right? So you got, you know, the folks firing back, you know, saying who the hell are you to tell us, you know, how to vote? And I get that, you know, and now you got everybody acting like there's some kind of race war brewing between two communities. Listen, the race war been here. The blacks and Hispanics have been feuding since before I was on this earth, you know, and several other groups. But um let's be clear right now in these social media streets. Most of the people pushing this narrative don't actually care about either community, right? They only care about votes. It has nothing to do with right and wrong and trying to build strong community relationships. This is all about political loyalty. So stop playing in our faces. Go play with somebody else. Go play with your mama. Don't play with us, right? And when that loyalty starts to slip, or when they just feel like, you know, Hispanics are no longer they're in bulk beholden to the Democrat Party or voting within the Democrat apparatus the way they think they should, suddenly everybody wants to start policing how folks vote. Stop it. So today, what we're gonna do in these streets, we're gonna unpack this whole thing, this whole mess. We're gonna react to Jemele Hill and Plies, and I think we got somebody else that we're gonna react to too, and then we'll go over why these tensions keep popping up and why certain political views are losing their minds over Hispanic voting trends, which is crazy. And then I'm gonna go over why something Malcolm X said over 60 years ago might explain exactly what's happening right now. But let's talk about it. So this whole debate started blowing up again because the reaction surrounding political losses tied to Jasmine Crockett and the broader conversation about minority voting habits. I hate that word, minority. You've got Jemele Hill online, what is she? She's no longer a sports commentator. So what is she? A podcaster? Okay, podcaster Jemele Hill, and entertainers. Is he really an entertainer? Like Plies expressing frustration with Hispanic voters, and the underlying message behind a lot of that frustration is pretty clear. Why aren't Hispanics voting the way minorities are supposed to vote? First of all, I didn't know there was a way we were supposed to vote. That there's no. Why does diversity always end where diversity of thought meets? Like we get the diversity of thought, and then that goes out the window. We don't. We're not required when we shouldn't, right? Think alike, breathe alike, act alike. That should not be a requirement. But that question literally reveals something important. It assumes minorities are a monolith, right? Like we vote as one political unit, and that assumption is exactly where the friction starts, ladies and gentlemen. For decades, the Democratic Party has relied heavily on black votes. Black voters talk we're talking like 85-90% of support. Like black people, even when Reagan was around, I looked at the metrics, 80 to 90% supporting one side of the political aisle, right? Black voters are one of the most politically loyal and voting blocs in the country. You can't listen. At what point do you go from okay, I'm just politically naive to I'm just flat out stupid? I don't know, but I think we graduated from stupid right before Barack Obama. I mean, too stupid right before Barack Obama. I think right before Barack. And then it just got worse with Barack because then we got our shining beacon of hope. Oh, Black Jesus. And then it didn't work out for you, did it? Okay, because you voted on skin color and not actual policy. But it is what it is. But anyway, that loyalty has created an expectation that certain communities will always vote the same way. And when other groups in this country, especially Hispanics, start voting differently, folks start panicking. But what you don't understand about Hispanics is that Hispanics actually do what all the other groups do. They vote smart, right? So you have a split, right? You have Democrats, you have Republicans, you have independents. Black people, we're Democrat. That's literally just branded on us when we're born. Just put a big donkey on our ass when we're born because literally that's what we're required. That's literally what we're expected to be. And that's ridiculous, right? So you start panicking because people suddenly, suddenly the political math ain't mathing the way you needed to math. So anyway, Malcolm X saw this crap coming, and we're actually going to have a whole episode on the next episode of the Rant Experience. We're going to break down this actual speech because it was actually one of the first speeches that I ever heard. That first of all, I listened to all the way through because generally a lot of these speeches I'm like, leave me alone. But I listened to it all the way through, and it was and then if Noelle is here, she knows the ballad or the bullet speech, and it was so powerful to me that I literally took an excerpt from the speech and I choreographed to it, and I made a whole piece. And then behind Malcolm's words, it was the reframe of Jimi Hendrix's Star Spangled Banner, just that one loop, and it was like the sound effects room. Anyway, enough about my creative stuff. So yeah, back in 1964, Malcolm X gave one of the most important political speeches in American history, the ballot or the bullet. This is the speech that should be played probably more than free at last, free at last. We know that, right? But rarely do we go to the ballot or the bullet. Why? Because it tells the truth. Yeah, because it tells the truth. We don't want to hear that. And one of the biggest warning signs in that speech was about blind political loyalty. Yeah, when you just do something by default, you don't ask any questions. You know you're not getting much out of it, but you keep doing it. Malcolm basically said if politicians already know that they're going to get your vote, Hillary Clinton, Joe Biden, Barack Obama, yeah, they have no reason to deliver anything to you, right? And literally, one of my favorite LBJ quotes, we all know, I've read it many, many times, um, where he literally says, give them just enough, not to make a difference, but just to shut them up. We got to give them something because if we don't, then all of their allies are going to start rising up, and then we're going to start losing politically. So let's just give them just enough to give them enough, quiet them down, but it ain't really gonna do nothing, but just make them feel good. So now you get rap concerts and you get a bunch of rhetoric around the color of your skin and historical hurts and all of the trauma that they love to say. Look at Jesse Jackson's memorial, which we'll talk about in our footnotes later. Yeah. So You got this blind loyalty, no competition, no people don't have to come and earn it, no accountability, no pressure on these candidates. Literally just telling them, well, they already know they're gonna get the vote, so just give them a rap concert, make them feel good, show up. What was Hillary Clinton? I don't feel no way tired. Ah, and that's what you get. She ain't show up to the Presbyterian church saying, "I don't feel no way tired." She sat up there. She talked like a human being, right? She didn't perform, right? But anyway, and then Malcolm X, he said something very powerful in that. He said your vote should be a weapon, exactly, not a donation, right? Politicians should earn it every election cycle, every single election cycle. I don't care if you like Trump. I don't care if you like Biden, Democrat, Republican, conservative, liberal, independent, Green Party, dog meat. I don't care. The person running on your party ticket should earn your vote. That's it. Oh, where's all the R's? Where are the D's? Where are the R's? Where are the D's? No. Just because there's an R next to their name don't mean they for me or stand for the things that I believe are morally sound. Don't mean they do. But anyway, this is what's happening right now. So the Hispanic electorate is becoming more politically independent. And let's just say the colored congregation, the Negroids, are pissed. Places like Texas, Florida, Nevada, Arizona, Hispanic voters are splitting their vote. But that's how it should be, ladies and gentlemen. That's literally how it should be. We're the only dummies who go 90% in one direction, right? Some vote Republican, some vote Democrat, some switch between depending on the issue, right? Depending on what's your flavor, right? That unpredictability drives political strategists bonkers. They hate it because they want to be able to predict what you're going to do, how you're going to do it, and why. Because they can't assume your votes anymore. They can't make a bunch of assumptions based on skin color, except with the Negroes. Other than that, they can't make an assumption with other groups for the most part, right? Now let's talk about another part people like to, tiptoe and tap dance around, and that's economic competition. And many Black American and Hispanic Americans in many cities, Black Americans and Hispanic Americans are competing for the same economic space. Black jobs, remember? So they're competing for jobs in the construction industry, in the service industry, in small business markets. When two working class communities are competing for the same opportunities, obviously tensions can happen, right? And in my purview, that's not really racism. That's just economics, and that's competition. But a lot of times we like to draw the line on race because one group says this and another group says that, or I'm from here and you're from. I don't care. I don't care. Did you earn it? That's all I care about, right? So of course, and then you have social media throwing gasoline on the fire, throwing gasoline on the fire. Another reason this tension is literally looks the way it does is because folks, we get on our little scrollers, we don't go out and touch grass, and then we get caught up in our little devices and we start screaming and yelling on social media. And literally, if I could offer you some advice today, take a moment. It doesn't have to be a whole day. It could be a couple minutes. It could be a few hours. It could be the whole weekend, but just disconnect. It is beautiful to disconnect and go live in the real world and see people in 3D and talk to people outside of a screen. It is perfectly okay. It's perfect. Right, right, right. But we understand that the algorithm, it rewards conflict, tribalism, identity drama. Every argument between two people online suddenly becomes proof that the entire community is at war. But in the real life, in the real world, that's not the case, right? You might have some tensions, but for the most part, Black and Hispanics work well together, right? A lot of us live in the same neighborhoods. We shack up with each other, we marry each other. We raise children together. The internet doesn't show that part, right? They just like the salacious stuff, the big, dramatic, traumatic stuff. And then you make that go viral and then you keep looping it. And then people think, oh, well, that's happening every day in the world. Oh my God. Anyway, Another part of this conversation comes from the way media frames politics. Um, the constant push, the idea of automatic minority solidarity. You hear phrases like, oh God, all of these get on my nerves. Communities of color. I can't stand that. Shut up. Communities of color, minority coalition, people of color voting bloc. The last time I checked, I'm one person, and there might be a person on my left and a person on my right. That does not mean we are required to think, believe, vote the same. We're not. We're really, really not. So, but that framing literally ignores something very obvious. Black Americans and Hispanic Americans have different histories, different cultures, different economic interests, different immigration experiences. Yet the media keeps grouping everybody together like we're one big happy tribe. No, we're not. We're not. Because it simplifies the political map, right? It reduces us to a group, and then we already know we're going to get your vote, and so you can take it for granted. And then when they're plotting, when they're being strategic in terms of where to go, which is where Hillary Clinton messed up in 2016, and she thought she had it in the bag with just committing herself to the black community and the coastal elites, and then realize you had a whole middle of the country that you didn't cater to. Y- oh, okay, we're just gonna ignore us. We're not gonna support you. But anyway, real life is really not that simple. So another misconception is that Hispanics are one political group, which black people have confirmed that they are, but Hispanics aren't, right? If you meet all types of Hispanics include people from more than 20 countries around the world, from Mexico, Cuba, Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, El Salvador, Colombia. Each group has different political experiences. For example, Cuban Americans, which we'll get to in a moment with Jemele Hill, historically lean more conservative because of their experience with communism. And people, you trying to be white? No, I'm trying not to repeat where I came from. Don't y'all always talk about that? Well, don't let history repeat itself. You got to know your history so you don't repeat. Well, that's why they doing it. Dummies. Puerto Ricans, on the other hand, in the Northeast have different political priorities tied to labor movements and migration, and yet political commentators lump all of these groups together under one label. And when they don't vote the same way, people act like something's wrong, like tragedy has struck. But nothing's wrong with this. This is literally the healthy way to be politically. That's a good thing. Why would you not want that? People are simply voting as they should, as individuals. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm not required to do something because my skin is brown. I'm not required to vote a certain way because 90% of black people choose to be politically ignorant. Does that mean I have to be? No, I don't have to be. And then it leads me to black conservatives, black Republicans, any black person who isn't a Democrat, pretty much, right? Another part of this conversation is always revolved around how black conservatives are treated politically. When a black public figure supports Republicans, look at Nicki Minaj, or criticizes Democrats in any way, look at Halle Berry. She criticized Gavin Newsom, and people, because she's supposed to be tribal, she's supposed to just shut up, and you don't have no critiques of Gavin. Just like you're supposed to back him no matter what, even though he's not pushing your what you advocating for. He's not really working with. We don't care. You have to be tribal. No, 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 no. But when it comes to folks like that, to the Nicki Minaj's and the Kanye's and et cetera, what do you often hear? They sold out, they're traitors, they're Uncle Toms, and that creates a culture where political disagreement becomes social betrayal. And it's ridiculous. But here's the contradiction. The same people who celebrate diversity often expect political uniformity from black Americans, meaning diversity of skin color is welcomed. We could look different, we could have, you could, but diversity of political thought, oh no, that is greatly discouraged. No, 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 you only have one option. You a darker. And another issue that rarely gets discussed, honestly, is immigration policy. Inside the black community, there are different opinions about immigration. Yeah, shocker, newsflash. Some strongly support immigration reform. Others worry about economic effects on working class communities, especially in industries like construction, transportation, and social work, where service work, where labor competition can affect wages. Literally, when you have a contractor bidding under because they have a lot of people who don't belong in this country on their team, and so they can underpay them so they can undercharge. Yeah, it kind of undercuts the American worker, right? But these conversations are often avoided because immigration is framed as a moral issue rather than an economic one, or just a right and wrong. Like, who cares? Like, but avoiding the conversation doesn't make it disappear, right? And then you have the generational divide, right? Older voters, especially those connected to the civil rights era, often view politics through the lens of racial solidarity and party loyalty. And that was one of the stupidest things black folks fell for in the 50s and 60s. One of the dumbest things we fell for was this racial solidarity and party loyalty. Yes, you can be a part of a community. That doesn't mean within that community you're all required to do everything the same. Right. But younger voters are asking a different question, what policies actually help my life? Not a good chunk of younger voters. There's still some dummies who still follow in the footsteps of what their parents and folks taught them. But anyway, instead of but instead of them ask that, what party am I supposed to support? People are ill informed, people don't go read, people don't research, people don't go figure out what's going to work for them. What they do is they just go with whatever they were taught, or they find some influence on social media and just blindly follow someone because they're talking something that makes you feel good. You could say something that makes me feel good, but I still need some substance. If I ain't got no substance, I can't work with this, right? But that generational shift is literally happening across many communities, and it's literally reshaping political coalitions, right? So then you have the identity politics versus the issue politics, right? This leads to the bigger conversation. Identity politics versus issue based politics. Identity politics says your race or identity should determine your political alignment. How's that working out for you? Issue based politics says your priorities and policies should determine your vote. That is the most mature way to vote. But for decades, we in our community, because we're the only ones that got the blue line on every graph going 90, 80, 90% in one direction, right? So anyway, for decades, American politics leaned heavily toward identity based voting blocks, but more voters are now shifting toward issue based decision making. Cost of living, crime, education, border policies, jobs. The fact that you have black people in this country, especially in cities like Memphis and Chicago and New Orleans and Washington, D.C., literally on the streets protesting that crime has been obliterated basically in their communities, and they're mad at that. They're more mad at the solution than the fact that they couldn't walk down the street just a few months ago. Y'all more mad at the solution than the problem that has been permeating for years, that literally your Democrat mayor and governor could have done, but they didn't. And we know why they don't, because you get a check. Chaos is money. You get a federal check to help reduce crime. Uh-huh. Now, if crime is not being reduced in any dramatic form or fashion, and then you could, oh, well, crime is down. No, no, no. People still getting shot in the head for no reason because they going to work, or getting stray bullets through their bedroom windows. No, 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 no. That's still happening. It's being underreported, right? Because folks just, they're tired. What is the point of reporting it? Nothing's gonna happen, right? So yeah. Anyway, those issues literally are starting to outweigh identity labels, and when that shift begins to happen, political alliances start changing. So I'll leave you with this. Maybe the problem isn't that Hispanics are voting differently. Maybe the real question is why anyone expects automatic loyalty in the first place. Because Malcolm X warned us about this 60 years ago, ladies and gentlemen. He said your vote is supposed to be power, power that forces politicians to compete for your support. Yeah. You see what happened to Jasmine Crockett when she had to compete versus when it was just handed to her? Because she was uncontested in Texas 30. She basically sailed to victory in Texas 30. Now, when she had to compete, she's a victim. No, this is what it looks like when you actually get on the treadmill versus just watching the treadmill. Mm-hmm. Yeah, get on the treadmill. Yeah, do some work. Get a little sweaty, get a little tired. It's not just about wigs and lashes and hair flips and viral quotes. That's not what this is about. You got to get out there and dog it. And she wasn't willing to dog it. And she thought her identity and being sassy and a couple of videos would get her over the finish line. And the only reason why she got what she got was because you have idiots who believe that identity trumps everything. Anyway, um, you got to start making folks compete for your vote. This is literally the power Malcolm X spoke of. That power forces politicians to compete for your support. That power forces them to deliver results. And if they don't, we're going to vote you behind up out of here. Why y'all still vote for Maxine Waters in that district in California baffles me. Why y'all still voted for Nancy Pelosi after decades? I still don't know. Hell, I'll even go to my side. Mitch McConnell. Why do y'all keep voting for Mitch McConnell? I mean, I'm not in your district. Maybe he's done some amazing things for y'all. I don't know. But I don't get it. I don't get it. But anyway, the moment politicians think they own your vote, Democrats know they own the black vote, so they don't fight for it, right? Literally, did y'all see how they disrespected Jesse Jackson? Jesse Jackson's son said, "Don't bring your politics to my father's memorial." And what did these monkeys do? Trump, 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 Republican. We'll talk about that in a moment. But the moment they think they own your vote, that's the moment your leverage literally disappears, right? So maybe the lesson here isn't that Hispanics are doing something wrong. Maybe the lesson is that every community should start voting in its own interests. Hmm. Because big government was never in the interest of Black Americans or any American for that matter. So yeah, start voting on interest, voting on policy and not emotions, right? Because when politicians actually have to compete for your vote, oh, that's when democracy starts working. But you know what? So I'm pretty much gonna be blind reacting to these videos because I didn't watch them all the way through. I just watched like a few seconds just to make sure it annoyed me enough. And if like the first few sentences they said annoyed me enough, then I said, okay, I'll react to it live. So the first video I want to react to is Jemele Hill. And where is she? There she is. All right. So this fool turns on her whatever. At least she took Megyn Kelly's advice and started putting on a little bit of makeup, I think, or something. She don't look as dry as she used to look. But anyway, go.
There are Latinos who feel like they did it the right way, and because they did it the right way, they're trying to pull up the ladder for everybody else.
What is she talking about? First line out the gate, dumb. First line out the gate, stupid. What are we even talking about right now? How are they pulling up the ladder for everybody else by saying it do it the right way? How is that pulling up the ladder?
And say, hey, yeah, we did it the right way. We did it the way that, because what they're really saying is we did it the way the white people told us to do it. And because we did it, we want our gold star.
So is she saying that African nations don't have immigration laws? So I could just pull up wherever I want in Africa, drop my suitcases? Like, no. They have a process just like we have one. It ain't got nothing to do with race. What does that have to do? Respecting immigration policy is now the white people? Has this woman lost her mind? What is she talking about?
We want gold star for Marcus.
If you don't know what that's a reference to, that's a reference to the movie Boomerang with Eddie Murphy. And I think Layla Rashawn was in that scene. Gold star for Marcus. Dinner was yummy. The reference is even wrong. It's just stupid. It's a dumb reference. Why don't y'all worried about? You know what? Go. Just
and because you guys may have come a different way, and we had to do all this to get to this point and to get this close. I need y'all to do the same thing.
Fill out the paperwork. Respect the immigration laws of the country. What? What? I swear, bro. I swear. I can't keep 20 people in here, but this bimbo has hundreds of thousands of impressions. Can we explain that, please? Can we explain that?
And my thing is, listen, they get here how they get here. Okay?
Oh, yeah. To lay on your front door violating you, and then you going to be like, they get here how you get here? You think Lake and Raleigh's mama like, hey, they got here how they got here? You think Dakara Thompson's family is like, oh yeah, they got here how they got here? You think Larisha Thompson's family is like, oh yeah, well they got here how they got here, even though they dead? Yeah, it's fun when you're standing in your temperature controlled environment, unfazed, because you probably have armed. Probably you live in a gated community, far and away from the problem. So yeah, it's so easy for these people to always do this from their beautiful gilded cages.
Why you doing the work of somebody that don't respect you anyway?
Why don't these people understand that they can get out? Like you can literally leave the United States. Why aren't you in Africa? In the bush with your natural hair? Why are you not out there though?
I mean, it's like, what? White supremacy, if you guys haven't figured it out by now, white supremacy doesn't need any help. They don't need assistance. They don't need foot soldiers. A lot of y'all.
As she's sitting up here with, I don't know if this is her real hair or not, but that damn sure ain't the natural color of her hair. She's sitting up here with blonde hair, talking about white supremacy. Straight blonde hair, talking about white supremacy. Can somebody, is this a conflict of interest or am I overthinking?
Weren't even recruited and just decided to join the movement. They don't need new recruits.
This is the stupidest, low IQ, reductive reasoning that I've heard in a minute. This ain't got nothing to do with race. You don't come from a communist country. Meanwhile, you'll be the first ones to wade in the water and tell somebody, don't let history repeat itself. So I'm going to let history repeat itself by voting for the very thing I fled. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? Make a lot of sense.
So why are you doing the work for them? Why are you carrying the water? It's just, why? For the mythical prize of being elevated by a certain group that will make you feel more American?
Just make him. I can't even say what I want to say. Just play it.
Because we all know in this country we have associated being American and what a patriot is with, frankly, being white.
Respecting immigration laws has nothing to do with race. I don't get why you don't get that. hmm So, and then voting for a Republican doesn't mean you're voting for whites because clearly y'all clamor to a white man anytime. Why didn't Kamala Harris pick a black man for her as her running mate? If it's so all for the people, why didn't they pick a? Well, yeah, why didn't she pick a person of color? She wouldn't even pick the gay dude. Y'all supposed to be the progressive party, the party of the people. But you knew it wasn't gonna work. I mean, it still didn't work. But I mean, shut up. This is annoying. Are we almost done?
And so you feel like if you're closer to that, then you're closer to whatever is the identity and the feel and the look of what somebody is supposed to be.
As she sits up here with hair emulating white people. Okay.
It doesn't work that way.
You know her mother's a Trump supporter, right? That's the most hilarious thing. The fact that her mother is a Trump supporter and she gets called out for it every single time. So, do you tell your mother all this stuff to her face? No, you don't. Because you know you get bust down if you try to talk to your mother crazy. Oh no, talk yo ish. Yeah, I hate when they do that. Oh, well, you're white. You can't talk about it. Why not? All right. To bore me just a little bit less. Here's now this I only listened to the first literally only listened to the first sentence in this and then I stopped it because I said this is going to probably annoy me. But here's rapper Plies with this stupid take or question or whatever he did.
Just real quick. But this to my Latino brothers and sisters that follow me on here. I'm trying to get y'all to educate me on something. I'm being dead ass serious. I ain't even being funny. I'm trying to see kind of what y'all feel. I'm trying to let y'all educate me on it because I don't want to be viewing y'all the wrong way. So I'm trying to figure out, do y'all feel like y'all align more with black folk or do y'all feel like y'all align more with Caucasian?
Well, first of all, we started on a bad premise because it's not black folk, white folk, it's Americans. We're all Americans. Like, when you take your behind overseas, they know you're American. And he's a black American. No, he's an American. I can tell by how arrogant he is. I can tell by how demanding he is. He's an American. Anyway, why is this a black or white issue? But because Jasmine Crockett didn't win a primary? Did y'all not hear Jasmine Crockett literally insult Hispanics on a couple of occasions? So if you are insulting Hispanics and then you want them to support you, and then when you're confronted with what you said about Hispanics, you try to moonwalk instead of just confront it head on. You know what? I did say that. And I absolutely apologize to the Hispanic community because I was out of line for that. You see how that works? You see how that works? They are not a monolith, just like black folks aren't a monolith, just like any other group of people are not a monolith. But no, we never want to do that. We never want to have a little humility and just say, yeah, I misspoke or I overstepped my boundaries with regard to that because y'all be quick to jump and scream and holler if somebody who is not of the black American community criticizes y'all.
And the reason I say that is because when I used to hear black and brown people,
I hate that. All the other terms I just said, and in this one too, black and brown people. Ain't no black and brown people.
I always thought we was like,
No, we're not joining to the hip. No, we're not. We're not.
I always thought we was the,
No. Separate but equal. But no. We're not joined to the hip.
folk, Latino, brown, So I always thought we kind of shared some of the same struggles, same hardships, same, just, we were similar. I remember growing up, all my Latino buddies, they was on what I was on. But now that I look at it, it ain't as clear to me no more. And I'm trying to ask y'all, do y'all feel, Latino brothers and sisters, do y'all feel y'all are more in line with black folk?
What does align with black folk mean? What is black folk? What does that mean? What does black folk mean? What does that mean? Being a Democrat? So in order to be aligned with black folk, you gotta be Democrat. Where's this accent coming from? Black folk. I'm trying to do a southern accent, but I keep getting this sort of Caribbean thing. Black folk. Anyway, go ahead.
Or do y'all feel like y'all are now more aligned with Caucasians? And I don't know if y'all feel like y'all more aligned with Caucasians or if y'all inspired to be more like them than y'all do black folk. I don't know. I'm fine with it either way. I'm just trying to get clarity on it.
This is all because Jasmine Crockett lost a race. I just want to let y'all know that. This is all because one person lost their bid for the nomination. This has caused all of this.
Because it's not as clear to me.
And then here's also, black people are very funny because if you say one bad thing about the black community in general, they're quick to withdraw support, right? Quick. But when the Hispanics do it, oh, well, what y'all want to align with? Y'all want to align with one? Y'all want to be white or you want to be black? How about I just be an American who has the right to vote for whom the hell I want to? How about that? Is that an option?
Than it used to be. Like, I used to think we was in the same fight. But now when I see things, I remember the last election talking to Latino folk, and they, oh, no, he gonna, no, he gonna give us money, he gonna, and I used to be like, God damn, like, that's the motherfucker want to get y'all out of here. And only
First of all, that's inherently bigoted because to think that just because someone is Hispanic that they're not a citizen is a bias. That's like saying because you are a short black man, which you are, that you're gonna snatch the woman thinks you're gonna snatch her purse. It's a bias. So yeah, this whole thought that, oh well, if you're Hispanic, you're not from here. No, they're Americans. They're the ones who did it the right way. They're the ones who are the real patriots. Y'all the ones who keep complaining about stuff and staying here. I don't know. I'm never gonna stay someplace that makes me incredibly miserable. If I was that miserable in America, I would have left a long time ago. Why? Because there's a whole world out there.
Because I need to know who I'm defending. Like, I don't want to be defending no motherfucker who don't even fuck with me, for real.
So if someone don't vote like you, they don't F with you? Is that what we trying to say? These people are, I swear. Meanwhile, this stupid video will get hundreds of thousands of impressions and supported and whatever. Meanwhile, AJ over here being logical. That don't work really on social media.
Asking so I know who I should and shouldn't be defending. So if y'all can just help me understand y'all thought process and who y'all feel y'all align more with, because I've seen, political candidates, black person, white person, and y'all motherfuckers, y'all be over.
Okay, so we're supposed to vote based on race. How's that been working out for y'all? So if you have a black candidate and a white candidate, did he make this video when Barack Obama went to Virginia and endorsed the OFA over the black woman, veteran immigrant? Did he make this video? Did this man make that video? Did he make that? I did. Maybe I missed it. I don't follow him, but I'm pretty sure it never existed, right? And in fact, I'm probably sure he piled on to Winsome Earl Sears. I bet he has some video disparaging that woman. So when Barack Hussein Obama went to Virginia and endorsed the white liberal female for governor, did you have anything to say to her, to him? No, you didn't. You didn't. Oh, because she's a different kind of black. It's okay to discard her. We can discard that kind of black. Yeah, we don't talk about that. But yeah, so it's okay to endorse the white woman in this event because she talking that good stuff, abortion and more welfare and all of that good stuff.
So I'm just trying to get clarity on that. If y'all can help educate me on this, I surely appreciate it. And it's love either way.
Now, if I had watched this stupid video beforehand, I would have never put it in. That's why I knew I needed it. I needed something to annoy me, and that definitely did the job of annoying me right now. Two low IQ people saying dumb stuff, talking about a whole lot of nothing. How about you don't insult people? It's called accountability, Jasmine Crockett. Had you not insulted folks, maybe people would have been a bit more receptive to you. Did you ever consider that? Did you ever think about that? Was that ever a factor? No, it's never a factor because it's always about you. Black people are always the morally superior ones. We're the greater ones. We're the voice of reason. We're right and you're wrong all the time. Even when we outright insult you to your face, you better support me or it's racist. Yeah. I know I said y'all have slave mentality, but you better support me. Hispanics was like, get out of here. It's annoying. And this is the low IQ stuff that I have to fight against. This is the stuff. Because this is the garbage that gets pushed out on social media. This. Not AJ, but this. And we're bored, quite frankly. We're bored at this point. We're done. Anyway, let's get to our footnote for today. And that comes from the Reverend Jesse Jackson's son, Jesse Jackson Jr. So he made it clear to y'all up front what not to do.
Do not bring your politics out of respect to Reverend Jesse Jackson and the life that he lived to these homegoing services. Come respectful and come to say thank you. But these homegoing services are welcome to all. Democrat, Republican, liberal, and conservative, right wing, left wing, because his life is broad enough to cover the full spectrum of what it means to be an American. We only ask people to come and be respectful in the context of the extraordinary life that he lived.
Each day we wake up to some new assault on our democratic institutions. Another setback to the idea of the rule of law. An offense to common decency. Every day you wake up to things you just didn't think were possible. Each day we're told by those in high office to fear each other and to turn on each other, and that some Americans count more than others.
I don't care what they do in Washington. I care what we do in the community. We beat people bigger than Trump. We fought people harder than them if we stand up and be what we're supposed to be.
This is bad times like now. We're in a tough spot, folks. We got an administration that doesn't share any of the values that we have. And I don't think I'm exaggerating a little bit.
Let me just say, I predicted a lot about what's happening right now. I'm not into saying I told you so, but we did see it coming.
Monkeys. That's what monkeys do. You say don't do it, and they do it anyway. So, of course, in the spirit of consistency, Jesse Jackson Jr. said this.
I listened for several hours of 3 United States presidents who do not know Jesse Jackson. He maintained a tense relationship with the political order, not because the presidents were white or black, but the demands of our message, the demands of speaking for the least of these, those who were disinherited, the damned, the dispossessed, the disrespected, demanded not Democratic or Republican solutions, but demanded a consistent, prophetic voice that at no point in time ever sold us out as a people. And it speaks volumes about who the Reverend Jesse Jackson was. Our message has already been delivered today. I can see it all over my mother's face. Rise, Jesse, rise. Give Jonathan Jackson another great round of applause for delivering our family message to the world. Let's hear it for the congressman.
And y'all got y'all behinds up there and did it anyway. It's cool though. All right. A couple of announcements before we get up out of here. So with regard to the shows or whatever, so the Lunchtime Rant will continue weekdays, noon, Eastern Standard Time. And then we have one change. We actually have two changes. So the weekend rant is no more. We're done with that. That's done. We got 2 episodes, and then we're not doing that. And then so now the rant experience will be on Saturdays at noon. And so this is a new day, new time. So it's no longer Friday evenings. It is now Saturday afternoon. So Saturday afternoon at noon is when the rant experience will be dropping. So now we just have a linear noon situation, and I don't have to cram for 2 shows on Friday at the end of the week when I'm already tired and already over everything and everyone. Anyway, so that is the new plan. Saturday at noon Eastern Standard Time, right here on wherever you're watching from. Also, the Trifecta Hour will be back March 31st, Tuesday, March 31st at 7 p.m. right here on this channel and also on Trifecta Hour. So if you haven't hit the subscription button on Trifecta Hour, go put Trifecta Hour in your schmoogler, your search bar, and it should come right up, this image of the 3 of us. Anyway, thank you all for watching. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. If you'd like to support the channel, you can head on over to ajsrantroom.com. That's ajsrantroom.com. I'm trying to get to AmFest as a vendor, and it ain't cheap. So if you would like to support that adventure or venture, it's an adventure and a venture. Scan that beautiful red QR code on your screen right there, or go to givesendgo.com/AJsRANTroom. If you'd like to buy me a coffee, or in this case, a tea, you can go to buymeacoffee.com/AJsRANTroom, or scan that beautiful QR code right there. We also take offerings in the virtual collection plate on Cash App. If you do not see this beautiful logo on the Cash App, it ain't me. So anyway, Oh, and support my other socials. Yeah, I had a brain frog for a moment. Support my other socials, wherever you are, cross pollinate. I'm also on X, Instagram, YouTube, and the TikTok at AJsRANT on all of them. So support a brother across platforms. That would be most appreciated. Anyway, thank you all so much. I appreciate you today. I will be live on TikTok tonight. So it's going to be a long work day for me, and I'll see y'all tonight. Appreciate you for watching. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe if you're new here, and hit that notification bell so you get notified every time I go live or drop new videos. Appreciate you. Peace.